Welcome to the Nurture Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, Denise Cagan, president of the DCA Virtual Business Support. At DCA, we believe in small businesses and the families they support. Learn more at dcavirtual.com. In this era of ultra-short attention spans, most people start books but never finish. Okay, I would be one of those. Shooks are designed to be read in about an hour and give readers the benefit of the entire content and satisfaction of completion. What is a shook, you ask? Today's guest, Mike Capuzzi, is going to serve up that tidbit. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Denise, thank you very much.
So first of all, did I pronounce your last name right?
You did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. A little after the fact, but you did.
Yeah, I literally forgot to ask you in the pre-show conversation.
No, you did.
How funny. Also in our pre-show conversation, it came up that you used to be an engineer.
Yeah.
Tell me how you got from engineer to this.
Yeah. Gosh. Well, like most of us in life, there's no straight line. So yeah, I graduated with a degree in industrial engineering, and for a number of years right out of college, I was very fortunate. My senior year, I was interning, got a job, before I even graduated for an engineering company, and worked with them for a couple of years, and then found a young software company, engineering software company, and it was in my town. And I joined that. I was employee number 57. It was that small.
Wow.
And when I left it 8 years later, in the late 90s, there was a couple thousand employees. So just tremendous growth. And I joined in a technical role, but moved over after a couple of years, they started a marketing department. And I raised my hand. I was always very interested in marketing, raised my hand, joined this fledgling marketing department, and ended up traveling around the world, speaking and talking about the software and stuff like that. And then at the height of the dot-com bubble, 1998, I left and started my own company and served software companies for a number of years. But that's sort of I just always had an interest in marketing. And I've been doing it full time now for over 20 years.
I think sometimes that people who sort of do the OJT, on the job training versus the education, get a little short shifted. They don't get credited the way they are properly. And I can tell you, because I've hired some people, that their resume looked like, but looking at their work and the progression I saw, like particularly on websites, they were phenomenal. And so I hired them. So I think that's okay. I think that's great that you got your degree in something else and went into marketing.
Yeah. I mean, listen, most degrees these days, especially, undergraduate degrees, aren't worth a whole lot. There's not that much in-depth information that you really come out of school with. Being a father of two college-age daughters who are in school, I'm like, oh my gosh, are you serious? But yeah, I mean, on the job training, and I'm a voracious reader. We're going to talk about books. I was telling a client yesterday, I mean, everything that you ever wanted to know is in a book somewhere. You just have to find that book. So, that's networking with smart people, reading. That's really where it's at, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So I did in the intro say we were going to figure out what a shook is. Tell me, what is that?
So a shook is a short, helpful book. So being a geek, a marketing geek, it's an acronym, if you will. But what's unique about it, Denise, is it's our brand. I always say, as a marketer, for any business, your virtual assistant business, my publishing business, whatever it might be, any listener's business, you have to stand out and be different. We're all commoditized. We all have competition. And much like Burger King and McDonald's have hamburgers, one's got the Big Mac, one's got the Whopper. So I decided to come up with our own format of short, helpful book. It's unique in a lot of ways. We can talk about that, but that's what it stands for, short, helpful book.
So is that something that's a physical item, or is it a digital item?
Yeah. Here's one. I know we're not necessarily showing the video, but these are paperback books, typically, because of the cost is lower than a hardcover, because they're meant to be given away. We can talk about that too, but they are physical books primarily. But yes, there's Kindle versions, there's audio versions, there's other, flipped versions for web use. But yeah, there's something special still, Denise, about being able to sign a book. Matter of fact, one of our clients who's a lawyer just sent me a bunch of photos this morning at a book signing he just did. I was like, that's very cool. It's hard to sign a digital book. It's hard to sign a PDF. So yeah, they are real books. And like you mentioned, they are designed to be read in about an hour to 2 hours, depending on who's reading it. But short and sweet, to the point, and allows readers to read it, get the gist, and then more importantly, if they're interested more, provide those readers with next steps.
Well, that sounds all very doable because writing a book has not really ever been on my bucket list. In part because I'm like, what would I say for 300 pages?
Yeah. Right.
So, and one of the other things that you said that I really liked is that it's all formats, including written. And I refuse to read books online. I am on the computer 8 to 10 hours a day. I don't want to continue that journey, on a screen. I actually want a physical paper book I can handle.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I have gotten to learn to appreciate Kindle books, like on a plane or something where you don't have to lug something. But I'm not an audio person though, personally, even though I have some audiobooks and we do them for clients. I'm just not, I like to read. So.
Absolutely. Okay. So I went to your website. I looked at a whole bunch of different things, and on your testimonials, I noticed you have some people there that I wouldn't have expected to necessarily write a book. Dentist was one I saw, appraiser, fitness, and either trades or trade show, and a mattress store. Oh my gosh, I would have not expected a mattress store to write a book. I saw doctors too, but those are probably a little bit more frequent. So tell me about your process a little bit.
Yeah, so I would say 2/3 of our clients are what we call local business owners or business owners, right? And they want to be what I call it 5-mile famous. They want to be the number one mattress retail or store in their area. They want to be the number one dentist, or at least the most well-known, or at least known for something, right? So local business owners. And then there's folks like you and me who have businesses beyond their town and community. We call those our worldwide authors. They're your corporate leaders, your coaches, your consultants. So we have two different pathways for two different types of authors. But yeah, I mean, that mattress store owner, phenomenal what he's done with his Shook. I mean, phenomenal. But they're independent mattress store owners. They have to stand out from all the competition, the chains. There's if your town's like my town, there's mattress stores on every corner type of thing, and they don't even position themselves in their Shook as mattress store owners. They are sleep better specialists. So it's about the promise which we all want, which is sleeping better. And here, I'm not just going to sell you a mattress. I'm going to sell you a way, a system, a solution for truly sleeping better. And that's what his short, helpful book's all about.
And that's how you help position the business owners is to bring out some type of problem and what the solution for that problem is.
Yes. And absolutely, you hit the nail on the head, because that's what, that's why people read books. They typically either want to get a problem fixed, they want to learn how to do something, they want to learn how to fix something, whatever it might be. And you mentioned earlier, like, you're not necessarily finishing all the books you start. I used to never not finish a book. But as I've gotten older, holy moly, I mean, I'll start with the best of intentions. Like you're 150 pages in, you're like, okay, first of all, they haven't gotten to the point. They're constantly repeating themselves. And I've got another 200 pages to go. And you just kind of lose interest. Whereas if the promise is, hey, give me an hour, 90 minutes, 60, 90 minutes, whatever it is, and you can read this entire book and understand what the promise of the book is about, that's a pretty positive opportunity in these days, in this day and age. So, yeah.
Sounds like I need to buy more Shooks because honestly, truly, this is embarrassing. I have read one book cover to cover this year. One. Now, I do a lot of reading, but it's mostly articles and, information on the web. So it's not full books. And I don't even know where I would find the time to sit down and read a full book. I actually read this on vacation.
Yeah. No, I get it. I tend to read at night before I go to bed. So my wife gets upset because I've got this stack of books next to the bed. But yeah, it's a challenge these days. And I think so all we publish are nonfiction, business-oriented books. A lot of nonfiction, business-oriented authors, they just ramble. They don't, even if they're working with a publisher or a book coach, they don't understand the importance of being focused, concise, and really just, delivering content in a short manner versus, it's much harder to, in a lot of respects, it's much harder to get a message across in a shorter format than it is in a longer format.
Oh, yes, I know. We do social media for our clients, and you talk about 180 characters or whatever it is now, 280 on Twitter. That has to be a full, concise thought with just 180 characters. So doing that in a book also where you have a lot of ideas, how do you bring people through this process?
Yeah, well, it goes back to my engineer days. So we have really designed a very unique and very effective system to work with our clients. So literally we go from first call, they don't have they have an idea. I'm a dentist. I have a unique way of serving my patients. I want to do a book about that. To then, typically 8, 12, 16 weeks later, the book is done. But it's a step-by-step approach, Denise, where I've really broken it down. 100% of our clients work with me. I've designed my business to be, even though I have a team of people, I've designed where I'm the one working with the clients because I've got the 2.5 decades of experience of extracting the important nuggets and coaching them on the right ways to put it in the right form, the right flow, the right marketing messages, et cetera. So yeah, I work directly with all of our clients, and I love it. At this point in my life, I would say most of our clients, I just really, really enjoy working with.
So what's the most unique business you've worked with?
I've got a couple for
Okay.
sure. Matter of fact, I'm not going to name names just now, but I like football. I am working with a former NFL football player, 2-time Super Bowl winner, so pretty cool. He's now a medical doctor.
Very
So
cool.
we are working on his shook, and I'm really excited by it because he came in thinking one thing, but we're working on something else now and he's just, he's beside himself. Like, this is really cool what we're doing. I think that's kind of neat. A woman who's built an amazing business. She just released a short, helpful book, a shook this summer, 2015. She started her business. She's in with the weight loss space.
Mm-hmm.
She's now an 8-figure business owner, like just amazing skyrocketing growth. And she wanted to have a short, helpful book out there for her lead generation to get more patients, or it's not patients, clients. But she was a lot of fun to work with because she's a PhD, very smart. Now, those are 2 examples of PhD medical doctor, but mattress store owner. We're up to like 230 clients. So I'm looking around. Music school owners,
Oh,
a lot
wow.
of lawyers. Yeah, a local music school owner. Oh, a U.S. Air Force fighter pilot. He's published several shooks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's really
like
cool.
that.
He's done some really cool stuff. And he's now publishing every year a series. It's a series, but once a year he releases it on Veterans Day. So he just released his second book in this series this past Veterans Day, but it's a compilation book. So this is where he has 20 fighter pilots, men and women, write one chapter in the book, and he donates 100% of the money to a nonprofit. So for him, it's about giving back. But it's a really cool series of books. It's called Single Seat Wisdom. These are single seat is the kind of fighter pilot he is, a jet that has just one person in it. And you can find it on Amazon, but it's a really, really cool book. Amazing stories.
That's phenomenal. So tell me a little bit more about how the business owners leverage this book to bring in leads. Yeah. And is this part of the process that you're also involved in?
It can be. Great question, by the way, because as I always tell all of our clients, and anyone who's even thinking about writing and publishing a book, truly, Denise, that's the easy part. It really is. Even though it might take people years or a lot of consternation, it's the easy part. The hard part is once you get those books, what do you do with them? Because a box of books sitting in a closet isn't going to help anybody.
Not at all.
The marketing, the promotion, that is it's a long-term play, should be measured in years for most people. Multiple years. It takes energy, it takes focus, it takes consistency. But yes, some of the ways, online book funnels, I'm sure you're familiar with them. You probably help clients, with landing pages and stuff like that. So funnels, there's a lot of ways to use a book in person. One of the very neat strategies we recommend to our local business owners are to find complementary businesses in your town where you can just ask the owner if you can just leave copies of your book there and let people take them. And
so
again,
they're not selling them.
No, and that's the point I made earlier. Most of the books, if not 100% of them, are designed to be given away, Denise. These are books that, yes, they might be for sale for some of us on Amazon, but the goal of this is to give this thing to as many ideal target readers as possible. It's not about making money by selling a book for a couple bucks. These business owners make their money on the back end. After someone reads it, gets to know and begins the trust factor, increases the trust factor with the author, we give them pathways to then connect with the author and work with the author in whatever business they're in.
So complementary marketing is what I just heard you talk about. Years ago, I owned a cleaning company, and one of our marketing tactics is we would give apartment communities a free cleaning certificate for their new clients. And it had to be used within like 60 days of them moving in. And while people are like, oh, you're giving away services, but we only needed a short amount of those to convert to recurring income to make up the money. So it sounds like it's a similar premise.
100%. And unfortunately, a lot of business owners are very short-sighted. They sort of eat today what they killed today kind of mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus thinking big, like bigger that you did. Like, hey, I realize, yes, a couple people are going to take advantage of this and never become a client. But guess what? There's enough there that are becoming long-term clients to make this all worthwhile. So yeah, it's a different way of looking at customer acquisition.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that. So mostly they're free. And in this one particular instance is somebody is doing it as a nonprofit, creating a donation resource. I love, love that. What would somebody need to consider budgeting to do something like this? That's including your fees as well as printing, publishing, because I don't, and what are those things that they would need to do? Because I don't actually know.
So a couple things. So you're kind enough to allow me to give away a couple of my shooks to be read. Honestly, and I've had them on my podcast. I've had people read the shooks I'm going to give out at the end of this conversation and literally do it on their own. Or maybe they hire a company like your company, and have a VA help them, get their thoughts together, et cetera. So there is a DIY do-it-yourself pathway. And in that case, it's just your time, energy. I mean, I will tell you, Denise, you should always have a professional cover design, and you should always have a professional interior design. A book should look like a book, not like some of the other things I've seen people do. And then you should have some sort of editing process, like third-party editor. Copy editor typically is all you need, not necessarily editor, which is a little different. So just making sure there's not, trying to catch all the mistakes. So aside from that, you can do it. People can do it. Our books are 12 to 15,000 words total, whereas most business books are 75 to 100,000. Mm-hmm. If they decide to work with us, all our fees are right on our website. We don't hide anything. For local business owners, it's a $6,000 package. And for our worldwide authors, currently it's a $9,000 package because we do more work for them. And that's a turnkey from, I think I want to do a book to having, a book that's on Amazon, Kindle, whatever it might be.
Oh, I love that. So are there additional costs for the printing? I would suspect there are.
I mean, there are. So, and again, it depends. If you're on Amazon, you want to use Amazon as your book printer. It's definitely cheaper. The scale that they can print at, you're not going to get it cheaper. And the nice thing about that is you can get on demand. I can buy one copy on Amazon, or I could buy 999 author copies, and they're all the same price. It's very reasonable. Maybe for our shooks, $250 to $3 a book, whether it's one or 999. Where local business owners, where we are printing the books, we have a book printer, high quality book printer. It's typically about in the $5 to $6 range, but it's because a book printer can't, they're printing 100 books and that's it. They don't have the scale to be able to. So you're looking into like the $5, $6 range if you have to print your own books.
And you're saying locally, you're in Philadelphia, correct?
Yeah,
or roughly that area.
But our book printer ships anywhere in the continental U.S. And we do have international clients. And in those cases, we either work with an international book printer or just using Amazon.
Perfect. So what haven't I asked you that I probably should have?
The only thing maybe would be, aside from its length, what makes a shook unique?
Okay, what does make a shook unique?
I got to answer that, right?
Yes, you do.
Well, length is one thing. We, again, going back to my engineer days, I consternated when we came up with this concept several years ago. Everything about a shook, Denise, is very intentional, including the fonts, the way we design the interior. It's all based on very specific direct response marketing philosophies and principles. So whereas a lot of folks don't even give it too much thought, we are very intentional. I always say, if someone can't physically read a book, they're not going to read it. So I would say the design is unique. And then the next steps, we offer two very unique pathways in a shook. One we always hope there's, two types of people that when they read a shook, they're going to do one of two pathways. One, they're hyper interested. They're very interested in what you have to offer. We want them on we call our active pathway. That's typically come into our store, book a meeting with me, schedule an appointment, right? So that's the active for the people that really are hot and bothered by what you've shared in your book, your shook. And then obviously most people aren't quite ready for that. They need to do more research, et cetera. So we have a passive pathway, and that's typically, hey, go to this website, enter your name and email. We're going to give you some more resources, more video, whatever it might be, just more information, maybe a lost chapter. And then we do follow-up marketing with those folks. So those two pathways are fairly unique. A lot of nonfiction business book authors don't have any way for readers to connect with them, which I think is a huge mistake.
Yeah, everything you're doing on marketing should connect somewhere to
Absolutely.
Whatever the next thing is, whether it's watching a video or signing up for your email. I'm 100% in agreement. So reactive marketing, I was going to ask you what it was, but I think you just explained it.
Reactive marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, where's that from?
Is that what you said?
No. That was probably my Philly mumble job, not react. But you could say, reactive marketing versus proactive marketing. I would say proactive marketing is really about giving readers, a very specific thing to go do. We don't want people to react necessarily. We want to at least give them the pathways.
Well, we kind of do want a reaction. We want them to reach out to us.
Well, that you for sure you do. Yeah.
All right, cool. So you have mentioned a few times about the books that you want to give away. So let our listeners know how they can find you and those books.
Yeah. So I've got 3 shooks. There are actually only ones on Amazon. 2 are sort of like hidden. I don't use them for clients and stuff. So the magic of short books, the magic of free books, because again, we want to use a free book marketing strategy, and then the magic of shooks. So those 3 magic shooks, I call it my magic kit, right? And if your listeners, Denise, go to mikecapuzzi.com/magic, they can just put their name and email in, and I email them links to read all 3 of them right online in a very cool format, their phone, their laptop, whatever it might be. But they're getting it and they're getting the whole book for free.
So if I wanted some print ones, could I get those?
The magic of short books is on Amazon. The magic of free books and the magic of shooks, we only use in our own marketing funnels. So there's various ways to get those. The one website's marketingwithfreebooks.com, but for you, I can. But yeah, we these are all sort of part of other funnels.
Yeah, no worries. And I like that. That's like I said, everything connecting. You're putting it onto a funnel, and this is how it continues the process of nurturing the person who's come into the funnel. I love it.
Absolutely.
Perfect. All right. We will make sure that your website is on the show notes. And is there any other way that you want people to reach out to you, get in touch with you?
Thank you for that. And no, our publishing website is bite-sized with a D, bitesizedbooks.com. I'm sure you'll have that link. But yeah, just those 2 sites, Denise. And if anyone's interested, I have an opportunity just to have a Zoom or a phone call with me to talk about your shook ideas. And I'm just as casual when I talk about that. So if anyone's interested, reach out to me.
Perfect. Thank you for your time, Mike.
Denise, thank you.
Thank you for joining me for today's Nurture Small Business podcast, where the focus is on business growth, technology, and people strategies to help your business thrive. At DCA Virtual Business Support, our focus is making your business operations run smooth so you can focus on growth. Reach out to me at denise@dcavirtual.com if you'd like to learn more.